There's a big white dude on here with a big permaculture account who's insufferable and gets so mad defensive about colonialism. I would tag him, but I can't remember his @ Yeah, thank you. This is a conversation where, I was talking about how rampant colonialism as a mindset is in permaculture. And it's one of the big valid critiques of permaculture is the whiteness and the colonizer mindset. I mean, what can you expect when the system was founded by 2 white Australian men? There's obviously going to be a lack of intersectionality, right? And there's obviously going to be an inherent colonizer mindset. Bill Mollison took a lot from Indigenous practice, sometimes giving some credit and sometimes not. But more than that, permaculture, when mixed with capitalism, appeals to prepper bros who want to maximize their dollar. And so they often want to go somewhere that is cheaper than America or Australia or Europe to set up their permaculture system. Lots of them go to Central America, where they want to play colonizer, and they don't take criticism of it well at all. I have said for a really long time that permaculture has a white supremacy problem and it has a colonizer mindset problem. And because of that, a lot of white bros in permaculture do not like my content at all. That and the fact that I'm very critical of PDCs, that's permaculture design certificate courses. The white bros in permaculture who want to take permaculture and do a capitalism with it, they don't like me. I said this on a Mutuals videos. It's the white libertarian men co-opting permaculture to do a capitalism because individualism is the antithesis of permaculture. They do not deconstruct from white supremacy, patriarchy, capitalism, and colonialism, right? And that means that they conveniently set aside social permaculture. They conveniently set aside basically all 3 of the ethics: earth care, people care, and definitely fair share. And they don't want to work through all of their, all of the things I have listed here and deconstruct. And it absolutely is a problem in permaculture, especially with those big white male gurus. Okay, I don't really know where to go with this comment, but I've made a couple of videos lately on permaculture, and one in particular talking about the problem of, crusty old white men and how permaculture has both a colonizer problem and a misogyny problem. And on that video, this dude who has a couple of gardening videos left a string of comments that just so completely exemplify for me that why are men so emotionally dysregulated? Why do they have so little ability to regulate their emotions? He kept leaving just gobs of comments like this one. Should Bernie Sanders quit politics because he's a white man? I mean, for me, when I see men kind of, having a temper tantrum all up in my comments when I bring up these issues, it says, I need to talk about them more. I'll just end this for now with a quote from Bill Mollison, the founder of permaculture. Women are the holders of all knowledge, and everything a man knows he stole from a woman. I recently made a video here on TikTok that went viral that is on a subject near and dear to my heart, but I consider very niche and do not ever expect to garner much attention. And that is the subject of permaculture. And folks had real big feelings on that video. It was just a short video about the problem of colonialism in permaculture and the problem of perma bros, like some very big influencers who want to use permaculture to do a capitalism. Not only that, want to dumb permaculture down, reduce it to make it less than what it truly is in order to make it more palatable to their particular conservative politics, libertarian politics, and to make it more marketable to the masses. Whenever I bring up the issues of patriarchy and white supremacy within permaculture, especially on my Facebook or on my YouTube, and now apparently on TikTok, it is not surprising that I get pushback from white men, right? From perma bros. Not necessarily just American, also European and also Australian. It should not be a shock to anybody that a system founded by 2 white Australian men would have at the very least vestiges of white supremacy and patriarchy, if not, rivers of it, veins of it running throughout every part of permaculture. And I find that perma bros get very dysregulated when I want to talk openly about these subjects. And they often say things like this. I had several of them in my comments saying things like this. It's just gardening plants, no need to interject race and sex, right? The people who don't want you talking about very real and impactful issues of race and gender are the folks who have all of the privilege of both race and gender. So of course they don't want you talking about how it impacts you because it doesn't impact them in the same way. In fact, it's usually a benefit to them. But I want to take a couple of moments here and talk in particular about how permaculture is not just gardening. I will say this until I'm blue in the face. I will have no issues repeating this message as long as it takes for all y'all perma bros and anybody new to permaculture to understand permaculture is not gardening. Now, you can use permaculture design ethics and principles, concepts to help you garden better. Permaculture is a portmanteau of permanent and culture, and permanent and agriculture. It is a way that we view our interfacing as human beings with each other, right, to create just and sustainable communities, cultures, and also the way that we view how we interface with the planet, in the way we grow our food, in the way that we interact with nature, permanent agriculture, right? Having a permanent focus on the interplay, the interconnection between all living things, between people and other people, between people and the planet. Permaculture is not now, and nor has it ever been, just growing plants. And I think that, part of the reason that permaculture has been watered down to this, or people think that it's just hippie gardening, is because there are so many libertarian prepper bros wanting to sell you their, $5,600 or $10,000 permaculture design certificate course, or wanting you to sign up for their workshops, their video lectures on permaculture, what their brand of permaculture is. And they want it to appeal to their demographic, right? Usually white, conservative, homesteady prepper types. So because what permaculture truly discusses and has from its inception by Bill Mollison back in the 70s is far more radical and does not align with those conservative politics, of course they're going to leave all that stuff out, right? All of the things that make permaculture not only impactful but make it efficacious are left out because it doesn't appeal to these folks' very particular brand of conservative politics. When you try to dumb permaculture down and make it so much less than it truly is, try to have it be just about growing plants, you miss out not only on all of the sustainability aspects of it, but the regenerative aspects of it. That's the whole point of permaculture, right? Is that we are looking at the connections between all things. So you can't leave out 90+% of the connections and think that you are going to be effective in implementing permaculture design. Now, I'm not a fan of the paternalism in permaculture, our tendency to talk about the fathers of permaculture and set kind of, crusty old white men up as gurus within the movement, right? But I do think it's important to look back at what Bill Mollison, who wrote Permaculture 1 and 2, who created permaculture by taking from indigenous practice, what he has to say about whether or not it is just growing plants. Now, Mollison was radical. He saw agriculture as a conduit through which we could enact environmental and social change, right? To create not only sustainable communities, but regenerative communities. He was absolutely political, and he would have been appalled at this notion that perma bros continue to perpetuate over the last few years about how permaculture is just growing food sustainably, because he would have said abso-fucking-lutely not. Now, I am by no means a Mollison originalist. I think that there has been a tremendous amount of evolution and improvement upon his ideas from the 1970s, right? I think that the work of folks like Liberation Permaculture, some of the indigenous permaculture movements, folks like Sustainable World Radio and Green Dreamer podcast cover a lot of that kind of innovation and improvement upon the original ideas of permaculture. But Mollison still had a lot of really good things to say. And in particular, I think he would be rolling in his grave seeing all of these perma-bros talking about permaculture as if it were just gardening. And also would be appalled at the ways that folks are trying to do a big fat capitalism off of permaculture with all of their expensive courses and workshops and the kind of commodification of permaculture, which was meant to be for subsistence agricultural communities, meant to be freely accessible to everybody. By the way, that is why I put none of my permaculture content behind a paywall. I agree with Mollison in this way. I do not think permaculture should be pay to play ever. Now, I want to take just a couple of moments and read a few quotes from Mollison, and you'll see what a radically political person he was. And I would encourage anybody, before you all speak again out of your ignorance, trying to say that permaculture is just gardening. is nothing more than sustainable agriculture. I would encourage you to read Permaculture 1 and 2. I would encourage you to start listening to some podcasts like Sustainable World Radio, like Green Dreamer. I would encourage you to talk with people in permaculture who are not white dudes. And I would encourage you to look at the ways that permaculture, what it really talks about, what it really addresses, might rub up and conflict with your politics, and what that says about your political beliefs. If you want to believe in permaculture, you want to utilize permaculture, but you don't want to dig too close into it because, oh boy, then you might have to reevaluate your political beliefs, right? Okay, so let me read a couple of things that Mollison, just a little tiny smidge of what he said. Okay. The tragic reality is that very few sustainable systems are designed or applied by those who hold power. And the reason for this is obvious and simple. To let people arrange their own food, energy, and shelter is to lose economic and political control over them. We should cease to look to power structures, hierarchical systems, or governments to help us and devise ways to help ourselves. You may think permaculture has nothing to do with sex or gender, but Mollison made this point. Women are the holders of all knowledge. Everything a man knows, he stole from a woman. Permaculture principles focus on thoughtful designs for small-scale intensive systems, which are labor efficient and which use biological resources instead of fossil fuels. Designs stress ecological connections and closed energy and material loops. The core of permaculture is design and the working relationships and connection between all things. You won't get cooperation out of a hierarchical system. You get enforced directions from the top, and nothing I know of can run on that. To accumulate wealth, power, or land beyond one's needs in a limited world is to be truly immoral, be it as an individual, as an institution, or a nation state. So I would just encourage you, if you were drawn to permaculture for the gardening aspects of it, don't limit it to just that. There is so much more to permaculture that is necessary if we want to build sustainable societies, if we want to have healed relationships with other people, healed relationships with the planet, if we want to have regenerative societies and regenerative ways of connecting with nature, then you cannot ignore the bulk of what permaculture is. Set your politics aside for a moment. Say, I'm going to feel uncomfortable. I'm going to look at the parts of permaculture that make me uncomfortable and figure out if those are actually really necessary and good things that can help all of us create a more just and sustainable world.